Hey everybody, how's it going? Serial Lover Jive here, and today we're playing Entropia Universe. What we're doing today is an age-old favorite of mine. We're doing the Beginner's Guide to Entropia Universe for 2019. So a few things have changed, most of the stuff stayed the same, but I just wanted to update the guide, let you guys know what's going on with Entropia Universe, and teach you all how to play the game. So stay tuned because we've got some great stuff coming right up. Alright, so here we are. This is Camp Icarus. So Camp Icarus is going to be your home, at least when you start Entropia Universe, if you're starting on the planet Calypso. This is sort of a teleporter right here. A teleporter is what you use to get around Entropia, or, well, the planets in Entropia. So each teleporter has multiple things called TPs. These are just TPs, there's various locations. You've got to go around and add each location, but once you add a location, you can just use one of these teleporters located anywhere throughout the planet to get to another teleporter on that same planet. If you want to go between planets, there's this thing called space. You travel through space, you can go to any of these planets. There's 5 or 6 planets now, there's moons, there's a ton of places to visit. This game is an amazing game for exploration. But this is like a teleporter. It's your basic thing. But for now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stick right around here. This is Camp Icarus. If you're looking for some new places to go, try going to Fort Lahire, or however you say that. You can go here to Orthos West Mound, or a favorite of mine, Port Atlantis. Those are some good places to visit. Also, if you make the swim out here, this is a very, very good area to mine. There's a teleporter right here, by the way. Anyways, we'll get into all that later. So let's get to the meat of the game, right? There's 3 different professions. There's hunting, there's mining, and there's crafting. Those are the 3 basic professions in Entropia Universe. Everything else is just getting like more and more into the sort of the meta and the more advanced sections of the game. But for now, all you care about is those 3 professions. There's going to be a few things that you want to pay attention to here. Okay, so on Calypso, and again, if you spawned on Arcadia or anything like that, everything's going to be about the same, but it's going to look different, it's going to be a little bit different, but the principles still apply. So on Entropia, you've got storage facilities. This is where you store all your goods, so if your inventory, hit I to open your inventory, gets too just filled with junk, like mine is, you can always go to storage and put stuff there. Unfortunately, my storage is also filled with junk, so that's a problem. But yours won't be because you're new. So now you've got a society terminal right here. If you're interested in joining a society, feel free to join mine, or join another society. There's plenty of great societies out there. Mine is the Serial Society. I'm typing it in right now. If you just search for that, you should find it. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sorry about that. Just search for The Serial, and then you'll see the Serial Society. You've got 46 members. It's somewhat active. Feel free to join it. There's a society chat. So you're going to see these down here. This is your chat interface in the bottom left. You can talk on various things. So in the main, if you go down to that thing that says local, you click it, you can talk to all these different channels. There's also trade channels and stuff like that. Rookie chat's going to be very helpful. You can ask for tips. That's where I go to ask for tips. That's like a universal chat. Local is for anyone around you. Trade, nobody uses that as much, but that's again for trading with people around you. Then there's society and society seniors. I have that because I started the society. But if you want to talk with your society, you just click that. So if you're interested in joining my society, that's how you talk with my society or any society you join. Okay, that's like a very basic chat interface. A lot of people get the hang of it pretty fast, but I figured I'd just give you guys a heads up. Now, for the meat of this, right, you're going to want to start playing the game. You're going to need gear. Now, there's a few ways to get gear. If you're going to be a depositor, if right away you know you're going to put money in, buy one of those starter packs. The better the starter pack, the better the gear you're getting generally. I think platinum's just more armor or something like, or more ammo. But you want to get starter packs. Okay, those are really good. So yeah, The starter pack is going to be great. That's a great way to start out. You're going to get ammo and everything like that, but there's going to come a time when you need to buy stuff. So this is where you go, the trade terminal. At the trade terminal, you can buy ammunition, BLP packs for BLP guns, weapon cells for pretty much any other gun, and then you've got mind essence. That's what you're going to use for like a mind force type, chip. Okay, that's what they're called, chips. But Mind Force I wouldn't worry about yet. That's a little bit more advanced. So also you can get your armor here, but I wouldn't recommend this armor. It's not that great, so avoid the armor. Now, as far as the weapons go, you've got a few different options here. You've got melee weapons, and melee weapons are good, but the problem is they're going to be a lot harder to use because you're attacking the creature from point blank, which means the creature is going to be attacking back. So the second you hit it, it's going to be hitting you back. And that means you're going to take more damage. And maybe later on you'll want to do that because you can skill up a few different skills. You can skill your evade, you can skill your dodge, and you can work on melee, get some more strength. Again, that's a later game thing. Right now you're going to want to go with either a pistol or a rifle. I'd recommend going with a rifle because it's got longer range, so you can hit stuff from farther back. And as far as damage per second, it's pretty decent. So let's go into the stats here. Now, right here, I'm going to pin these two weapons. So we got the rifle and the pistol. Let's do a comparison here. You can see damage per second. The pistol does a little bit more damage per second, 5.8 to 5.2. So the pistol is doing more damage per second. But then if you come down here, again, we'll go over all these stats, right? So you've got your requirements, right? Recommended level. If the recommended level is 0, you're going to have to just start using that when you start off. But later on, when you're looking at a gun and you're looking at the recommended level, I'd recommend using something that, like if the recommended level is 5, you should probably be level 8, because otherwise it's going to be very uneco and you're going to be wasting a lot of money. That's one thing to remember about Entropia Universe. The game is never going to stop you from wasting money, but that doesn't mean that you're not wasting money. Anyways, you're going to have this learning period thing. So what a learning period means is that if you're damaged or hit, that means when you get those skills, you're going to get a little bit of a boost because you're a new player or because you're in that level range. So when you're in that level range, it's going to say yes. If it says no, do not touch that weapon. If it says not anymore, you're extremely eco. So if you're trying to make a profit, maybe you'll want to use that weapon. Next up, you're going to have attacks per minute. You can see the pistol attacks faster, hence why it does more damage per second. You're going to have damage penetration, damage burn. Don't worry about that for now. That's, again, later game. And then you've got damage interval, which is just how much damage the gun can do. The pistol can do 2.5 to 5 damage. The rifle can do 3.5 to 7. Now, most importantly, you're going to see the range. The range is how far away you can attack a mob. So with the rifle, you've got a range of 39.6 meters, and with the pistol, you've got 26.4 meters. So again, that's showing you just how far you can shoot. You want to have your max, you want that range to be as far as possible. And the same thing for like hit ability and critical hit. You want that to be as high as possible. 10 is the highest, which means you're maxed out on the weapon. So for those of you wondering, on the right side is the max you can get. On the left side is what you're getting. So if you're using a gun, I'm going to pull out a gun that I am not skilled enough for. So this gun right here is beyond my skill level. I bought it and realized I couldn't use it. You can see I'm good here. So with hit it says not anymore, but with damage it says yes, which means my skills aren't equal, and that means that I'm not going to be doing as much damage as I should be. So you can see I'm doing 20 to 40 damage when the maximum person using this gun could do 24.5 to 49 damage. That's a 9 damage difference at the top. That's pretty big. But again, you're going to see the range is maxed out, hit ability is maxed out, critical hit ability is maxed out. You're also going to see I've got a farther range than sort of you do with like a basic rifle. That's because I've got more skills. That's just how the game works. It rewards you for skilling up, of course. Anyways, those are sort of your options. I'd recommend rifle, but go with whatever. Either way, you're going to be skilling laser. If you want to skill BLP, then you've got to get like a little bit more advanced. You've got to buy something from the auction. We're going to go into that later, but stick with me here, folks. Now, next up, you've got mining. So with mining, it's pretty easy. You buy this thing, the basic excavator. That's going to just pull stuff out. Then you've got the Omega detectonator, or however you say that, and that's going to be what you use to just mine for ores and matter. Basically, you're mining for resources. And then probes, that's what you drop. So probes you drop. This you use to drop the probes, and this you use to pull out claims. This is going to make a lot of sense later. So that's sort of all there is to go over here. There's some other stuff. Decoys, do not really use those. Those are sort of useless. Same thing with like the distractor. The refiner you can use later. It's sold here too. It's just sold in both places. It's what you use to basically refine your ores, which if you get a lot of them, you're going to want to refine those ores and sell them on the auction. Again, more about this later. This you can use to scan people. And this, I'm not even sure what that does, to be honest. Like, I've never used this tool before. I don't know everything about this game. Oh, this is for gathering resources. Okay. So I think this is... Yeah, I think this thing's useless. Don't worry about that. Next up, you have medical. So this is a Vivo T1A. That's something that you're going to use to heal yourself. I'm going to show you a better way to do it. You can use this to heal yourself when you're hunting, but there's better options out there. Next, you've got some enhancer components. Again, just sort of skip over that. And then you've got a loot collection pill, which I wouldn't bother with yet. Later on, maybe you'll want it. That's up to you. And nanocubes. Nanocubes are used for crafting. So what you can do is you can go to a crafting technician. You can buy a blueprint, and you come here to buy these nanocubes. Then once you have those nanocubes, you can go to a crafting terminal and craft to your heart's content. I would not recommend crafting. So I'm not even going to really go into crafting outside of this, what I'm talking about now. Crafting is extremely uneco. You're likely to lose a lot of money, and you really should know the game before you get into it, because I guarantee you if you start off crafting, you're just going to get upset with the game. If you do want to do crafting, I have tutorials on that. Make sure you go to the mothership, skill up to level 10 first. That's going to cost you some money. Be ready to lose. Like, be ready to lose money. Anyways, let's jump back into hunting, mining, and everything else. So, as long as we're here. This is the auctioneer. The auctioneer you can go to buy stuff off of auction. It's got everything that you could find in Entropia Universe on here, right? This is where people go to sell stuff. So you can hit sell to sell, buy to buy. I've got a whole tutorial on the auction. Look it up, but this is auction. Just know it exists. When you start the game, do not buy anything off of auction. Unless you want like cool clothes or something like that, but basically don't buy anything off of auction. It's a more advanced tool. It's definitely a tool that's worth looking into, but don't get anything off of auction. Anyways, let's go out. Let's start. I'm going to show you some hunting. I'm going to show you some mining, and then we'll call it a video because I don't want to dump too much information on you guys. As always, if you got questions, feel free to ask below. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick my gun. This might be a trade terminal one, right? I think, yeah, this is a trade terminal pistol. So I'm going to equip this just so I'm using a gun that you guys might be using. Again, I'd prefer to use this like the rifle, but I need some pistol skills because I haven't skilled up in pistols. So we're going to go with that, okay? So you can equip your pistol by hitting I, going to this place, this weapons section in your inventory, back-clicking and hitting equip. You can also hit I, G, and L, drag the pistol over, and that's how you make hotkeys. If you hit F1, F2, F3, F4, blah, 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 you can set hotkeys for different sort of settings or different key sets. It's really useful. I recommend using it. So now what you want to do is you want to find a mob right here. Let's pick this one and just shoot it. Again, that's all there is to the game. You pick a mob, you shoot it, and then once it's dead, you can loot it. You back click to loot it. You can just click on it, like back click on it, or back click would be right click, left click to shoot. If you're shooting and you're not shooting at a mob, you're not losing any money. So keep that in mind, folks. Like you can't lose money by randomly shooting like this. But if you target the mob and you miss, then you're losing money. Alright, so once you get your loot, you've got a few different options. You can go to the trade terminal in TT or trade terminal. Like TT's basically sell your loot to the trade terminal. It's slang for that. What you don't want to do is sell something that's worth a lot, right? So you want to back click on it and you'll have an option to see the markup. With shrapnel, you don't. With shrapnel, always do convert to ammo. So shrapnel converts to ammo at a very good rate. Well, not a very good rate. You basically save 1% by converting shrapnel to ammo. I'd recommend everybody does it just because, 1% is 1%, and that's something worth doing. Or that's money worth saving, I'd say. It's going to show up just as this universal ammo. Universal ammo can't be sold. It can't be traded. So, if you want to cash out or something like that, don't do universal ammo, but really there's no reason not to. And if you're just starting the game, you're not going to be cashing out. You can only cash out $100 or more, by the way, folks. So keep that in mind. Also, there's fees, and it takes 6 months. Just heads up there for all you guys joining thinking like, hey, it's a free-to-play game. What do I have to lose? If you put $10 in, you can't pull it out right away, and you're going to lose fees. Anyways. Now let's go into mining. So for mining, you want to back click here on tools. You want to find your mining finder. I'm going to be using a different one than you guys would, and you want to just click equip. Again, you can use the same hotkey scenario to do that. Mining, one of the nice things about mining is it does use your universal ammo too. So if you want to do mining and hunting, you can convert your hunting stuff to universal ammo, and well, then you can use that universal ammo to mine. So what you want to do is you're going to have a green display like this. You can click on these different symbols to mine for them. So this would be for mining for end matter or energy matter, and this would be mining for ores. I recommend you guys do both. If you want to be cheap, save some money, just mine for end matter. But I really recommend you do both. Over here you've got treasure. You can't mine for that on Calypso. That's something you can only do on, I believe it's Arcadia. So let's go ahead and start dropping the probes. Again, you can back click and use tools, or you can use your hotkeys. So just keep running forward and dropping your probes. Each probe you want to drop in a different location because each location only has a set amount of loot. So if you drop one probe somewhere, you want to run a little bit and then drop again. So I dropped it, I ran a bit, now I'm going to drop again. This is just how you want to do. You want to just run in a straight line. You can run in a grid-like pattern. However you do, you just don't want to overlap. These things are, so the way mining works, the way resources work is it's dropped in a radius pattern. So just draw a radius around yourself, basically like this circle that you see down in the bottom right. That's what forms around you when you drop a probe to find resources. And there we go. Speaking of the devil, we just found resources. So that's sort of how easy it is. You just run around, drop resources until you find something. Then you're going to want to go and mine it. So to mine, you hit I again, find your extractor, equip your extractor. And then what you're going to want to do, go up to the resource where you have this equipped. And then hit use tool. Aim at the resource and hit use tool. And that's how you mine. There's also a just auto use. That's a very useful button. So later on, what you're going to want to do with hunting, you've got an auto focus, which will automatically, or auto target, and then you've got an auto use on your gun. So you're going to want to hit auto target to target a mob. You're going to want to hit auto use to just keep shooting the gun until you've killed the mob, and then you're going to want to just sell everything, or no, then you're going to want to move on to the next mob. With mining, you don't want to use auto use because it's going to drop probes too often. But when you're extracting a resource or pulling it up from that claim like I just did, there you want to use auto use. And here we go. Your resources are going to show up here in mined resources. Your materials are going to show up here in materials. If you want to see how much a resource sells for, back click on it and hit market value. That's going to show you what it's worth. Now keep in mind, these numbers are played with, right? So right now you're seeing 24.15 PDs of crude oil sold for 169.77%. To a new player, that looks like a legitimate number. I get it, but it's not. It's definitely not. This crude oil does not sell for this much. Most people actually do not buy resources when they're crude like that. What they do, and the market value is just how much something sells for an auction. But what people do is they equip this, which I was showing you earlier, transformer. They use it, and how you use a transformer is you take your resources, drop them in here, hit refine, and now you've got oil instead of crude oil. And what it does is it takes, for end matters, it takes, I think, 3 or 2. It takes some amount of end matter. I think it's 2 end matter, converts them into 1 of a refined resource. But refined resources are going to be worth the same amount PED wise as they were unrefined. If there's any leftovers, it'll just be left like this. So you're not losing any money by refining it except for decay. Now what you want to do is you want to look at item info. Now you can see the real market value, and let's check that out. And you can see the market value is still high, 144.46%. I'm not sure what's going on. Someone might be paying a lot of money right now for oil. And if that's happening, you definitely want to sell it, because you can see right now for the week, it's at 110%, month it's at 117, year it's at 106%. So right now, oil is doing very well. So this would definitely be a time to mine for it and to sell it if you're looking to make a profit. Anyways, folks, that's sort of like a just basic tutorial of Entropia Universe and how it works. There's still a lot of stuff in this game that you've got to get used to. There's a lot of questions that you guys are going to have. I recommend you guys dive into some of my other videos and some of the other videos out there created for new players. There's a lot of good information. There's not many content creators, but everybody out there who's making content for Entropia Universe is super, super friendly. Feel free to ask them any questions you have. Feel free to ask me any questions. If you've got a question, I'd say first, put it into YouTube. Like, if you've got a question of, how to mine, Google Entropia Universe mining, or beginner's guide to mining, and you'll find one of my guides. I have guides on a lot of stuff, crafting, mining, hunting. If you type beginner's guide 2 and then you fill it in with the profession, there's probably a guide I made for it. If I didn't make the guide or the guide does not answer your questions, come back to my video or comment on any video. Just ask me the question and I will answer it for you, or at least I'll try to. And if I don't answer it, there's some other like YouTubers and just all around good people who are commenting on these videos, watching these videos, who'll probably be willing to give you a hand. If you're interested, I also have a Discord channel. There's going to be a link below. I have Twitch, so feel free to follow me on there. You can ask me questions live. And I also have Twitter. That's another good way to get a hold of me. No one ever tweets at me, but if you're interested in doing it, I'll probably respond. So yeah, I think that is everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I forgot, but I think I gave you guys a pretty good sort of feel for Entropia Universe and what the game is as a whole. Now, a few more things I just remembered. So one thing to remember is, one thing to know is every time you use an item, it decays. So every time you use something, its health, the value of it drops just a little bit. So you can see this finder was originally worth 82 PEDs. Now it's worth 24.21. It's just because I've been using it. Maybe it wasn't originally worth 82 PEDs, but it was because I repaired it. And that's the other thing, right? So in Entropia Universe, there's two types of equipment. There's equipment that's unlimited, and there's equipment that's limited. A limited gun like this, the Solmato Azzurro or Rubio, or the shotgun, or anything like that, right? These are all limited guns, which means once that value's gone, it's gone. You can't repair the gun. You can't fix it. It is just a dead weapon. It's useless to you. Now, there's also repairable stuff, and repairable stuff is nice because what you can do is you can drop it in, and that is a horrible example because I can't actually repair it. Let's take the sword. You can drop it in, and then you can just click this button and repair it all the way, some of the way, or however you want, okay? There's no real benefit to repairing something all the way unless you're going to use all those PEDs. The only thing this isn't true for is armor. You want all your unlimited armor to be repaired all the way because otherwise it's not going to be as efficient. So for me, I always keep all of my armor fully repaired because if you don't, you're losing PEDs, you're taking more damage. A lot of people forget about this. So always, always, always make sure your armor's repaired, folks. Everything else, it's up to you. And that's only for unlimited armor. If you buy limited armor, then it's limited. So once it decays, it's done, but it doesn't lose protection as you go. If you guys are wondering what protection is, it's right here. You can see the stats. Every armor has different types of protection it is for, and every mob does a different type of damage. So this armor is decent for a mob that does electric damage, but not too great for a mob that does acid damage. Sometimes you're going to find mobs that do half electric, half acid, and then maybe you want to look at like a different type of armor because there's armor that protects against both of those. it gets complicated, folks. It really is like a huge metagame to this, and I can't explain it all in one video. I'm just trying to sort of cover everything, touch the bases, and get you guys introduced to the game without confusing you too much. But yeah, that's about everything I wanted to go over. Also with the armor, again, you want a full set, so everything, it doesn't stack, right? So this armor says it does 25 penetration. I can't put this on and it'll do 50 penetration. It just means if the mob hits me in the body, I'm protected for 25. If it hits me in the thigh, I'm protected for 25. If you have an armor set but it's not complete, like let's say you're not wearing these things, the foot guards, there's a chance, and each body part I think has a different percent chance of being hit, that your foot gets hit and the mob does full damage. You're not protected by the armor, so you could die. Keep that in mind if you guys decide to cheap out and not buy an armor piece. Sometimes it's better just to make a sort of hodgepodge of armor, put a bunch of different pieces together. But again, it's all up to you. You guys can play this game however you want. There's a lot of efficient and inefficient ways to play the game. I've got a ton of videos on this, but for now, I'm going to be calling it because this thing's getting long and I don't want to bore you guys. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, if you got questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to post down below. If you made it this far into the video, you might want to hit the subscribe button because I do a lot of Entropia Universe stuff, and hopefully you'll get some tips out of it. Also, I do some other videos too from other video games, so like if you're just a gamer in general, maybe you want to hit subscribe. I don't know. But, yeah, that's it. And thanks for watching, guys. Also, hit the like button if you can, like always. Anyways, peace.